Hi everybody, I'm Tara from Crooked Row, and today we are in my kitchen. We are not out in the garden today, but we will be going outside. I'm gonna plant bulbs later, but first I wanted to share with you a really great eggnog recipe. Eggnog, we absolutely love. We typically drink eggnog at New Year's Eve. I think it's a really rich, great treat. And if you live on a homestead and you have chickens or a farmstead or a little suburban, what are those called? Urban stead? Urban something? If any of you have chickens, this is definitely something that you're going to want to make. We make ours raw. Warning, we make ours raw. If you feel like you need to cook yours, there is lots and lots of recipes online where you can cook yours. I mean, weightlifters have been eating raw eggs for a long time and they've been pretty much okay, right? So we're gonna make ours raw and it's really, really delicious. I also want to put a little caveat in there. We actually don't drink ours with alcohol in it. I know a lot of people do. We're not against alcohol. I just don't like the flavor of alcohol. So we don't put it in there. And of course I have children, and so we make the non-alcoholic version. But if you need a boozy version, then you go ahead and put bourbon, rum, whatever alcohol you like in yours. I know a lot of people put bourbon or rum in theirs. But this one's gonna be alcohol free and it's gonna be really rich and delicious and super easy. While that chills, we're gonna run outside and plant the rest of our bulbs, even though it's December. So I wanna encourage you that if you have bulbs left that have not been put in the ground, go ahead and get them in the ground. I mean, even if your soil is a little like, not frozen, but if it's kind of hard, it's still okay. As long as you can like clump that soil together and get it packed down on your bulbs, you're fine. So we're gonna get started with our eggnog recipe, and then again, while it rests or while it marries in the refrigerator, we'll go out and do bulbs. So let's get started. Okay, I have all my ingredients rounded up here on my cutting board, and the very first thing that we need to do is separate out your egg yolks and your egg whites. I know that a lot of people have a hard time with this. I'm not sure why though. I'll show you how I do mine. Like, I just kind of transfer it from the shells. Of course, if you're working with farm fresh eggs, you're gonna wanna be careful because a lot of times, even if you can't see it, the farm fresh eggs, like store-bought eggs, are pasteurized, so you don't so much have to worry about that with store-bought eggs. But farm fresh eggs, even if they look clean, they do have, I don't even want to say what's on their shell, but there is stuff on the shell. Even if you can't see it, even if they're completely clean. So if they're farm fresh eggs, go ahead and wash your eggs first, but only if you're going to use them to transfer them. My mom has always separated eggs, and sometimes she would use the shell as well, but sometimes she'd just pour it into her hand and like slightly have her fingers apart and with a bowl under it and let the white come through and the yolk was in her hand, and then she would separate them that way. Either way is good, but I think it's a good idea, especially because this is not being cooked. If these were being cooked, I wouldn't have so much of a problem with it. But please, if it's farm fresh, go ahead and cook these bad boys. Or no. Go ahead and wash these bad boys. I'm just gonna show you quickly how I crack my egg open and I let that fall. So I'm going to turn the KitchenAid on and beat this until it's light and pale. Okay, I just wanted to show you how thick this is. It's it's like batter-like. I mean, it's very thick consistency. And so now I'm going to have it on about a medium speed, and I'm going to add the sugar. Now, a lot of recipes call for super fine sugar. I didn't have any super fine sugar. I could have used my food processor to make it super fine, but this is just for my family, so I'm not really worried about it. So you're just going to add little bits in at a time and of the 1.5 cups of sugar. Okay, so I am just gonna scrape the sides because I want to make sure all that sugar is down where it can get mixed up and dissolved into this beautiful, I mean, really, this is a custard. Oh, and around this time too is when you're gonna want to add your alcohol if you're doing alcohol. Again, my kids will be drinking this, so no alcohol in this one for us. I'm just gonna mix it just a little bit more. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 quart of milk and 1.5 quarts of heavy whipping cream. Okay, now I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of cinnamon, because I want that cinnamon to also soak or marry into all of these flavors as it sits. Dropped my nutmeg. Okay. I'm also gonna put some nutmeg in. I'm not gonna put as much nutmeg in, maybe 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Nutmeg is pretty strong, and I kind of want this, it's such a rich flavor. I don't want to overwhelm it with nutmeg too. Okay, I'm gonna mix that. Okay, so I am just going to ladle this into canning jars, and you could put this into, you know, a big pitcher or some kind of big round bowl that has a lid. I actually have, we're doing so much cooking for the holidays right now, I do not have room, but I could fit jars in there. So I'm just gonna fill that up. Okay, so I have all of the eggnog in my quart jars in the refrigerator, and you have to let it sit for about 24 hours at least. Now, if you're making this for like, you know, gift giving time, or, you know, when your family and friends are gonna come over, or if this is New Year's, or if it's just a party through the winter and you just want some eggnog, you can make this up to 2 days in advance. Some people say 4. And just, you keep it in the refrigerator and you let those flavors marry, but do not add your egg whites yet. So we are part of the way done. So everything that you have seen me do, you stick it in the fridge, again, for at least 24 hours. And we'll come back in 24 hours and we'll finish this off and have our grand taste test. So I can't wait. Okay, it's been 24 hours and we're ready to try our eggnog that's been refrigerating and all of those flavors marrying together. I look a fright. I'm so sorry. I have done nothing but cook all day. It is that time of year where we do nothing but cook for other people. So, but I wanted to get this out so that you could have an excellent eggnog for all of your holiday parties. So, all you need now are your saved egg whites, a mixer, and I'm actually using this mixer because my KitchenAid mixer, my stand mixer, died. It's been 18 years I've had this, so be on the lookout for a recipe in the future. I am hoping to save the money to get another one. I want a pink one. Okay, so I just have a bowl. I'm not going to use all of my egg whites in this because we're not utilizing it. Only whip up your egg whites and add them when you're actually ready to serve it. So if you're putting it in it like a big bowl or a large pitcher, you're going to want to wait right until that, right before party time. So I'm just going to put the camera where you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to whip these up pretty tight. So nice stiff peaks. Look how over here that is even sitting on the side of the bowl, here and here. That's nice stiff peaks. Okay, so here is my canning jar. I'm just gonna shake this. You can see that some of the volume has gone down, but that's because it had so much air in it and was whipped. So I'm gonna grab the mug. Again, you would be doing this in a bowl for your guests, but I'm gonna fill that up. I'm going to dollop this right on top of here. Look how stiff those are. That's so great. You want it pretty stiff peaks because of kind of the nature of, you know, it's going to try to deflate, especially if you have it at a party. Doesn't that look beautiful? To garnish it, again, I want to keep letting you know this would be in a big thing, in a big beautiful bowl or something for a party, but I just grate some nutmeg. I keep dropping my nutmeg for this whole recipe. I never do that, but I just make it pretty on top. And you could leave it just like that. We absolutely love cinnamon, so I just do a little shading with cinnamon, just a little bit. And if you want to kind of go over the top, I love a cinnamon stick. Doesn't that look beautiful? Okay, so I'm gonna give it to Elijah first for him to try.
Ooh, what is this on top?
It's just egg whites whipped up like meringue. It won't taste like anything.
Mmm. Yeah, that's really good.
Isn't that yummy?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
Missy.
a dessert in itself.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I just called them in from outside to try this. Is that good?
Mm-hmm. Mm. That is delicious. I love it.
Okay, here's the moment of truth. I am gonna try it. I'm very picky, so. Oh, that is so good. I have to have another drink.
Yeah, it is delicious.
Wow, that is so delicious. You have to try this recipe. I mean, it was good enough for me to make this video with no makeup on. So try this. It's absolutely delicious. You have to let everyone taste this like rich, creamy. The thing that I don't like about the store-bought ones is that in the store-bought ones, it's very thick, but it's like a fake thick, if that makes sense. This is like a naturally on its own thickness, but there's still like a quenching quality to it, I guess. And my husband loves to buy eggnog just constantly. He almost bought some last night because this wasn't going to be ready because he loves eggnog that much. So, but this is like, it blows store-bought eggnog out of the water. So if you want to wow your friends and family through your holidays, make this. Wow, is that good. So remember, if we can make homemade eggnog that's way better than the store, anybody can. Thanks. Bye.